morning and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going over a little project I've been going over for this week. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today we are going to be going over this little project that I actually have been working on for literally the past week. As you well know, if you watch me quite frequently, I actually have a bit of time off from work at the moment. And what better yet is to sort all my characters out in order for Shadowlands, so i.e. trying to get them geared, trying to sort them all out and make them all good. And I was currently going through like leveling and like events and all that stuff. Like obviously Hallow's End was on and Day of the Dead is on at the moment. I think it's the last day today, but that being the case, I was going through it and I was like, okay, well I have to go through like loads of websites in order to find out different types of things to actually get all this information. So I kind of had the thought of why not just have in-game mini guides within the game, and that is what my week had consisted of, because the week prior to that was I was trying to figure out like, oh, I wonder what all the dungeons are going to be like in Shadowlands, how am I going to actually run them, how are the raids going to be done. So I went ahead and I made WoWHub. Basically what it actually comes up as, it will show you on the minimap, there is a minimap button of course, and when you open up this dialogue it will actually tell you, it will open up into the news section. This is for in-game news, class guides, events, dungeons and raids, along with class rankings on like who's the best DPS and who is the best tanking spec at this moment in time and what are performing the best with the rankings. Now this is version 1, so I did actually make a nice little mock-up of it, and I am proud to say this is available on Twitch right now. I will be leaving a link in the description down below for you guys. But as we can start this off, we're actually going to start off with dungeons. So with dungeons, I can then go over to obviously dungeons. We have the news feed at the beginning, but we'll get back to that in just a second. We have dungeons. Basically, it's nicely laid out with a couple of buttons for each and every single one. What it's actually going to be stating is the dungeon in which you will be playing through. So that would be, say for instance, Necrotic Wake in Shadowlands. We're going to go do that. You click it and you can just close that back down, and you'll be presented with the summaries of the dungeons for each and every boss, along with tabs for every boss telling you how they actually fight and what you should really be doing if you are a tank, if you are a healer, and also if you're a damage class. So for instance, if we went to Blightbone, which we are on right now, the tank, while you're tanking, you should evade the ability Heavy Wretch and blah blah blah. It will actually tell you about the abilities, what you should avoid, what you should be doing against this boss and what you should be aware of. Along with that, that goes for healers as well. So say if there's like a something that you need to dispel while you're actually healing, then you have that there, that information. Aside from that, there is adjustables to making the screen a little bit smaller if you want, so you can stick it in the corner of your actual window and you can actually play along with this while having that out. So basically you could have Necrotic Wake out, you could be going through Necrotic Wake, just fighting around, like doing all your jazz and killing everything, and then you get onto the next boss and you just press it, and then you can just quickly have a read up on what you need to be doing in that particular fight. That is basically the premise. It's like an in-game guide for events, dungeons, raids, everything. So that is the basic idea of WoWHub. Now at the moment the dungeons will only show the Shadowlands dungeons, because I wanted to get this ready for Shadowlands, and I am safe to say it is ready for leveling in Shadowlands. Every dungeon boss has been covered in this for Shadowlands, and subsequently that is for every single one of the new dungeons that are coming into Shadowlands. So then when you guys are doing this on normal, heroic and all that jazz, you can actually have a good understanding coming into it without having to go and look up multiple sources to find out different things. You just have a basic guide on what you need to do, so you can just crack on and enjoy yourself within game. The next thing of note that I would actually say is we actually have raids. Yes, I have started work on Castle Nathria, and sourcing any of the additional information that is actually there, it will actually go with your summary, just like dungeons, and then it will cover every single boss. So say we have Shriekwing, it will give you a basic explanation of what the phase 1 is, what healers should be doing, what the tanks should be doing, and what is phase 2, and then what will happen in that fight. Same with the Sun King's Salvation, it will tell you phase 1 and 2 for that particular fight, and so on and so forth. Even if you went into LFR and you wanted to find out what the boss you're actually fighting and want to know a bit about the tactics on what you should be really doing in that particular fight, a WoWHub actually has you covered in that respect. So that's really cool. We only have, with Castle Nathria at the moment, we only have a few bosses that have actually been covered. This is like a load of different websites that I've actually had to comb through for relevant information to actually talk to you about, to actually write all this up. So until more information comes out about Castle Nathria, I can't actually write much about it because there isn't any relevant information that's solid in stone that this will happen in that fight. So there's only a few bosses that actually have actually been written about. So Shriekwing, the first boss, you've got Ultimore the Huntsman, you have the Sun King's Salvation. Obviously, Sire Denathrius is not done. But aside from all of that, if it does come up like that, it will just say no information on this section, will be updated when more information comes out. And it will just tell you then. And obviously, when more information comes out, I'll update it for you guys. And then you'll get an update for WoWHub. Coming into that, you do have a breakdown of different types of events when it comes to WoWHub, and that is with a lot of the actual events that are taking place in games, such as Day of the Dead, Feast of Wintervale, Brewfest, Pilgrim's Bounty, Lunar Festival, Midsummer Fire Festival, Noble Garden, Lovers in the Air, Children's Week, Pirates Day, and Hallows End. This will actually, when clicked, so we'll say we'll go Feast of Wintervale, you will get a little brief summary. Now that doesn't look like an awful lot, but if you go to achievements, it'll actually tell you the main achievement, which is the Merrymaker. So how to get the Merrymaker title. It will list out all of the different types of ways in which you can actually do all of those achievements to get the Merrymaker title. Along with that, it actually breaks down just a basic overview of what you can actually obtain from the vendor, so such as like Crush and Thrushin Killdozer controller, and you've got the Minion of Grumpus from the Savage Gift from the vendor. You also have your quest items, which is the Clockwork Rocket Bot and the Pineapple Lounge Cushion. You have your gifts, such as your Red Helper Box, your Jingle Bell, all that jazz. You know what I'm talking about right there. So it only goes over the summary for that event, what is the main achievement, how do you actually get it, and also what are the types of rewards you are expecting to have. This will go for like Brewfest as well, and it will tell you how do you get the Brewmaster title, and also it will actually go over what type of things you can actually get. So boss drop is Corin Diabrew, and he drops the Swift Brewfest Ram and the Great Brewfest Kodo. Along with that, with the vendors, it will actually tell you that you can actually get the Stout Elemental, and you can actually get a hold of one of those as well. And it will do it for all of those events. Going to the creme de la creme, the thing that I am pleased about but does need a bit more finesse and also needs a bit more information added to a lot of the other ones. But I wanted to know in game, so I don't have to just go to loads of random websites to find this information out. I just want a basic concept of when I'm leveling a new character. Say I've just started a priest. Bear in mind I don't actually play a priest, but say I played a monk, for instance. I do have a monk, but he's level 1. But what you're actually going to be doing is I could go to monk, I could press monk, and it will give me a summary guide on how to play a Brewmaster monk at the moment. How do I play it? What is my level of choice? So from my talents, such as 15 to 50, all of those, it will give me my choice on what I should build for my Brewmaster monk. And then also it will give me a simple rotation in which I can actually use this in the real world with a bit more dialogue, as you can well see. This one was actually done by one of my patrons, Shiki Mono, and he actually did a very in-depth guide when it came towards monks. and that is pretty damn cool. I was really happy. Thank you very much, Shiki. Same goes with Lucia, one of our guides. She actually did a summarization for the Havoc Demon Hunter with the talents for Demon Hunter and also the rotation for a Havoc Demon Hunter. Basically, the entire concept is I want a summary of that particular class. How do you play it? So such as like rotation, and also what type of talent should I be using? Aside from all of that, that is what it's actually meant to be doing. It's just a brief summarization of what you can actually do with that different type of class and what should I really be doing to get the best output for that spec. And then moving forward, you can get through that. So it's not like in-depth guides on how to play Assassination Rogue. It is how you would be recommended to play an Assassination Rogue. This is the standard rotation that most people use, and these are usually the best talents for you. This is how you would probably be able to do it. And that is something I've always wanted in the game, so I've just gone ahead and done it. And yeah, I've shoved it all into one place. So all the latest Shadowlands raids, dungeons, events, classes, doing all of that. Now, moving on to the WoWHub news. This is something that I have been going to be working on in the future as well as this, and that is the Welcome to WoWHub, the actual news panel, the one you actually get to at the beginning of the thing. This will actually detail what all the new features do at the moment, and in the future this will actually come up with new change logs, so any new changes that has happened when it updates. So once WoWHub actually updates and I've done like a patch or something, the actual news will actually tell you in there what has happened when it comes to in regards to the change log. This has happened, so monks have just gained a buff, so this talent is now redundant, blah blah blah. Just a clear information, concise, and just simple little snippets to keep you guys just informed when it comes towards actually anything that is inside of WoWHub. Aside from that, this will probably stay the same for like the next couple of updates, and then it will start rolling out with like change logs, news clippets, major patch things that you need to be aware of, and going forward in that, just keep you in the know. Now, aside from all of that, rankings. Now there are two other tabs, rankings and settings. Now rankings actually doesn't actually have an awful lot at the moment. That is because I have taken the decision to actually wait until Shadowlands is actually released, and then finding out the best ranking for every single class and spec for like range DPS rankings. We won't really know until Shadowlands actually comes out, and then you can actually see the list, what is the best range DPS to use at the moment. You can just go ahead and pick that. Moving on to that is basically how it would actually work. And then also with settings, I'm going to have a massive play around, so be able to change the actual colour of the screen and make sure that your default can be whatever thing you want. So if you're more dungeon based, you use dungeons more, you can go into settings and have that as your default, so it'll open up with dungeons and so on and so forth. So I'm going to add a load of things into settings, but this is the basic concept of WoWHub, and that is to get easy, concise information that I can just have on the screen and be able to just go ahead and just crack on with it. So I can literally just go bing bang bush, doing a Halls of Atonement, I can minimize it. Now let's get cracking. Okay, first boss, I should really, as a damage dealer, deals damage with an ability, blah 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 blah. And now I know exactly what I need to do. I know what I need to avoid, and I can actually crack on and not die as much. I've got the simple, relevant information in-game. So, in-game class and dungeon guides for everyone. Other than that, guys, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. If this actually is well received, obviously I will develop this a bit more, but it's just something I wanted in-game, as I am going to try and get back into raiding and dungeons and all that stuff. So I really wanted this because this would be really helpful. Instead of just having a notepad with a load of notes, why not actually just write it up for everyone and then have it in-game? So I've just gone ahead and done that. Aside from all of that, guys, if you do like it and you want to actually share it around, please feel free to actually pass it on to other people, as I would like to help as many people as possible. Other than that, guys, that is pretty much all I have to say for the rest of the day. Have an awesome rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon? Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.